I remember when tipping in America was about the quality of service that you received. This waiter went out of his way to get you ginger ale from across the street to the street next door because they didn't have ginger ale at the store anymore. They went the extra mile to treat you with respect and care. But nowadays, it feels like tips are expected. It feels like people are asking you tips for the most everyday mundane things. You go to a coffee shop. Hey, where's my tip? You get a delivery. Hey, where's my tip? You go to the self-checkout kiosk and the robot goes, hey, where is my tip? It's almost like everyone just wants a piece of what you have. Let's talk about if tipping is getting out of control. You remember the good old days when tipping was simple? You would go to the restaurant, sit down, eat your meal, and then you just have to think about 10-15% of what the meal actually cost. Maybe 20% if they went that extra step for you. This was back when tipping felt like it was an option. It was a choice you made based on how satisfied you were with the food or the interaction with the staff. But nowadays in America, it feels like tipping culture is they keep asking you for more and more. I don't even want to eat out anymore. It feels like they keep asking me for all of my money. I've seen an option where they, you know how it usually goes from 10%, 15%, 20%, or like goes 10, 15, 18, or 12, 15, 18. Now they do this tactic where it starts from 30, 25, and 20. And I'm like, 30% tip? What else do you want? My left nut? Oh my gosh. There's just so much that they're asking for. And I mean, you should tip if you feel like they've done an excellent service, but we should never be scammed into clicking a button that says 30%. And I feel like we shouldn't have that awkward interaction where the guy comes with that handheld device. No, but what I'm trying to say is 30% tip and these trick tactics to pay that tip. It's a bit much. It's like you're trying to guilt me. You're trying to trick me into giving you more money. It's like trick or treat with no trick or treat. No trick. Just what? No treat. So how did the tipping culture in America shift, and how did we get here? Basically, I think a big part of it is digital payment systems. You know, let's picture this. You're at a family establishment. You go to Olive Garden and you enjoyed your meal, and then you have to, you know, of course, pay for your meal at the end. So the waitress comes with her handheld device. They look at you and then they say, oh, by the way, it's going to ask you a couple funny questions. They stick their hand at you and they pretend to look away. Like, I don't know, you know that I know that you know how much I'm going to tip right now. You don't have to look away. Like, you know, if I press custom, it's going to be a lower amount. You think I'm going to pay more than the 20% you're asking for? So main reason why I think tipping is like this is because two things. These digital payment systems that make it kind of awkward for us. They place us in these awkward situations sometimes, even though it's faster. I concur. It almost feels guilty if you pay for lower than the standard 15%. And another big reason is many workers still rely on tips to make their livable wage. But is it fair? I don't know. So my next point is, what's fair and where do we draw this line? I think as a consumer, we gotta stand firm and say, look here, Buster, tipping is about great service, not just a routine add-on. So you can't expect me to just pay my left leg and my right kidney for a terrible meal and a terrible service. Like, and even there's a whole debate of should I tip if I order food to go? Like, what is your take on that? You know, what I'm trying to say is, yes, tipping culture is a little out of control. I remember when it was 15% was more than okay, but now it's like they're asking for 20 minimum. So what do we do about it? Do we just say, I'm not going to tip anymore? I read this one post where this guy was like, they look at me like I'm a walking wallet, ready to give them a 50% tip discount. So then what's the solution here? I'm not saying we should stop tipping entirely. What I think we need to recognize that tipping is a privilege done, and establishments need to know that it's a privilege for the customer to tip. I feel like we shouldn't be forced into it. It's our choice, and it should feel like one. So at the end of the day, you know, we all gotta eat, but let's just respect one another and make tipping more about this great quality of service rather than a mandatory thing. Rather than giving someone a handout saying, hey bro, you were my waiter, I guess. If you enjoyed this video, I post every 2 times a week. Look at these videos right here. Let me know in the comments what you think about tipping. What is the correct percentage? Peace.